Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Kane. Today I'm sharing an 8.5 by 11 layout for Series 18, Christie's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches. Today's sketch is by Jackie Scraps, and I will have her information down below. I followed along fairly closely. I changed it up just slightly, but not a whole lot. The design is still there. I have two photos of my son in karate class with one of his friends while they were training, and that's mainly what the subject's going to be. These little skulls, I have like four left, and I was going to put one on the layout. I lost them somewhere on my desk while I was creating. They do not get used, but it's okay. They will go on another layout. I have a few rub-ons. These are from my stash. I wasn't even sure if they were still going to work. The Bow Bunny ones are the ones that make it on the layout, and they do still work. The other ones I just didn't have a place for, so I don't end up using them on this layout. I will save them for the next one. I love this black and red paper that has the stars in the background, and the black paper also has stars in it. That is from Paper Rose. This paper also is from Paper Rose, and I thought I was going to use the yellow. It ends up being pretty much a monochromatic layout with the exception of black and white, which is still monochromatic. So it's basically a red layout is what it turns out to be, and that's because they are red belts, both of them. So I just played in on the red on the uniforms versus the blue. There is a little bit of blue, I guess, so it's not monochromatic because there is blue in the title pieces, but um, yeah, pretty much it's red. So I ended up finding the karate embellishments that I knew I had, and those are from Photoplay. Actually, pulled out the karate paper, which is also from that Photoplay collection, and that's what I end up using on the layout. That's how it ends up going, mainly red and black. Like I said, with the exception of the not really the title piece, but that saying right there, "Admit it, life would be boring without me." That ends up on the layout. So that little blue, and then of course their blue shirts, it matches with that. So all in all, it all goes together. So here I'm going to lay this piece here down at the bottom. She had two banner pieces. I'm only going to have one banner piece and then one rectangle piece to lay the banner on. I just thought it looked better versus the two banners, so I just didn't turn the second one into a banner. And then the photos I matted on that black star paper. And then this was from the ephemera pack for Photoplay, and it's one of the frames. And I get two of those frames actually on this layout. And usually that's what I do with frames. I just tuck them in and use them as an embellishment versus using them as an actual photo frame. Every once in a while I use them as an actual photo frame, but usually they're an embellishment. So here's making sure my paper was straight. It looked crooked for some reason, and it kind of slightly was, but not really. I think it was the stars in the background that was throwing it off. So I decided just to go with it and chalk it up to it's straight, uh, hoping that, nobody notices. But I think it is straight in the end. So here I'm going to lay this frame up here. I tucked part of it down below the photos. And then this one, I am going to frame this little title piece or little saying that says, "Admit it, life would be boring without me." And I just thought that was kind of cute and fitting for these photos. My son and this other boy, they were training together for almost 3 years. The other boy is one belt below my son, so he came in a little bit later, like 3 months after. And so they trained all the way up until almost to the black belt. Both of them have decided not to pursue the black belt and to move on. And that was just a choice that we made mainly for the studio purposes because we didn't agree with a lot of what was going on at the studio once he reached 13. So I decided that it really wasn't a good fit for him anymore, and he also decided that. So it was kind of a mutual thing. So he did end up quitting karate, but I still want to document all of the photos and all of the memories because, like I said, we spent 3 years in karate, And he learned a lot, and he definitely, learned defense big time being in karate that long. And he was one belt away from being a black belt and definitely had all of the qualifications to be a black belt. But like I said, just the studio itself and the sensei, we decided to walk away. And it's really sad that we did, but that was just a choice. And unfortunately, we don't have another studio with this particular company that is around close by that we can go to. So he just doesn't get his black belt. Anyways, on that sad note, let me tell you what I did on the layout. I did add rub-ons up there at the top, as you saw, and those were the Bo Bunny ones. They did rub on. This paper is kind of on the slick side, so they kind of had a little bit of hard time staying stuck down. You saw one of them I just completely rubbed back off and then kind of replaced it with a different one. And after I did that, it was fine. Like, it just didn't rub down completely before I lifted the rub on. So it popped off and then it just wouldn't go back down correctly. It stuck to my finger instead. But it was okay because I just went ahead and replaced it with that other one. So the stars are flat back and they're almost like the pearls. And I believe they're made out of resin, is what they call that. And I'm just going to pop those around the layout in black, white, and blue. And that's going to pretty much finish it off. Like I said, I think it's a really cool layout and it turned out really cute. They're playing Catch Me If You Can. So my son would stand on one side of the studio and his friend was trying to catch him before he got up off the floor and stood back up. And you can, in the photos, they are laughing hysterically at each other because he would get back up so quick that his friend would pretty much hit the wall versus hitting him. And they just had so much fun. I did add a few stickers down at the bottom with words: unstoppable, enthusiastic, strength, and you rock, which is something that they say a lot in the karate class. So I thought that was pretty fitting. I've enjoyed playing along with 30 days of sketches, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Bye!